So Chizuru is quite a versatile character, and by this I mean that you have multiple options how you're gonna build here. Different ways, and they're working properly if you have a good support team, support cards, and good one Epiphanies and copies. And in this video we're going to speak about her insane one-shot build. As you can see, the numbers are going to be right now, over 22k damage with some additional cards, and in total is going to be like around 25k. And just to remind you, this is the highest difficulty of the boss with all the debuffs being applied, so you're going to deal less damage, and potential is going to be way higher than this in terms of numbers if you have such an option. I'm going to break down everything, pretty much details, all her Epiphanies, copies, what you wanna get as a support cards for her, and so on and so forth, team composition. So let's begin. And I'm going to start with a couple changes that I have in comparison to my previous video. I've worked on her, improved her builds, and right now you can see her stats. So she's at 835 attack, she has 54.6% crit chance, critical damage at 164.6, which is nice, I guess not that bad. I worked on her potentials, improved quite some of them, got myself the last couple nodes here, so this one is going to improve our damage output by a lot from her main DPS card, from her main OTK card, which we have in this build specifically. The other one node, which is also going to increase our damage output, a little bit worked on critical damage, and obviously I'm planning to work further on this one. I've built her basic card upgrades to maximum. This one node I also want to improve for unique cards, because overall at the end we're going to receive 20% damage increase, which is actually really great. And the changes that I have in terms of memory fragments, so I have improved quite some of them with better stats overall, and right now I'm using two sets. First one is from 4 pieces, which is going to give 35% critical damage, one cost cards, and two set with plus 25% critical damage. Overall, her main card in most of the cases is going to cost 1 AP when you're going to use it, so this set is working really great in this scenario specifically. Now we're going to discuss her builds, her cards, her Epiphanies that you want to use in this build specifically. First of all, just for you to keep in mind, you want to remove the shield card. Maybe, ideally, you want to remove her basic cards as well, but I prefer to keep them, because whenever you're going to delete up to 3 cards, you may still lose some Epiphanies or some additional copies that you got yourself during the run if you're not doing it at maximum level difficulty, at the maximum tier. And yeah, I had such a feeling that still I'm able to deal quite a decent damage from her basic cards. They're helping me to stack her Shadow of the Moon, the bind card, improve performance by a little bit, and overall it really fits her build in general, because all the other characters that we're using, we want to have to really narrow down in general our deck. We want to just scroll it as fast as possible and have some key cards which are going to increase our damage output, build our stacks faster, and so on and so forth. So other characters, they don't really have any attacking cards, and sometimes it's going to work really slow in terms of building these stacks to increase the tier of Shadow of the Moon. Now, what's the key aspects we have here? When we're talking about her Karmic Flames, in my case, during the intro video that you saw, that I was showing to you, I had it as an attack card. it's not the best option. I mean, of course you're going to deal some additional damage, but really for OTK build, you don't really need some extra attack cards. You wanna to build your deck really narrow, and in this case the best option here is going to be the Karmic Flames, which is the skill card. So this one specifically, because it's going to have the exhaust effect, and this card is going to disappear from your deck from the very beginning when you're going to use it. It's going to reduce amount of cards in your deck, make it more specific, more concise, and you're going to scroll all the most important cards in your deck. So it's going to be faster and better. That's why this option is going to be probably the best one. The next moment which I need to mention here is going to be obviously about Tsukiyomi. This is her main and key card here, and yeah, we're talking about this one, which is in the middle, which is going to add 2 hits to the next Shadow of Moon or Shadow of the Moon Plus, and you want to get during the run as many copies as possible of this card specifically. This is our core and key card for this build. About the Bound at Dusk, during the last video I made a little bit of mistake in terms of interpretation of certain descriptions, and the whole idea that the translation is weird here. I was thinking that whenever you're going to use 2 random cards of some other characters, the effect is going to disappear. Well, the interpretation was wrong. It means that 2 random cards in your hand are going to reduce their cost by 1. So if you have a full deck of 1 AP cost cards, each turn you're going to reduce cost of at least 2 cards to 0. It depends on which characters you're going to use, but in my case I believe all of the characters that I have, they have or 1 AP cards or 0 AP cards, so it's really cost effective. Yeah, this is the best option because you're going to save quite a decent amount of AP and you're able to play more cards during the turn. Now the next one is going to be the Oni Hunt, and it's kind of flexible, let's say. It really depends. I would say that probably the best option here is going to be the upgrade version of Oni Hunt, this one specifically, the unique, yeah, which is going to give plus 40% damage amount to Shadow of the Moon Plus, and each turn is going to give you 3 stacks of Will-O-Wisp, which is going to help you consistently over a certain period of time build up your Shadow of the Moon tier. And as it's an upgrade card, whenever you're going to use it, once again it's going to disappear from your deck, so you're going to narrow it down even more. Of course you can use an attack version. For example, if we're talking about the attack version of this card, 4 hits, and it's going to help you to stack your Will-O-Wisp, but again it's going to stay in your deck, and sometimes it's not the best option. The way how this deck is working, it's all around your main DPS card, which is Shadow of the Moon, so most likely you want to have it as a single 1 attack card in your deck, maybe keeping like her basic attack cards just as an additional support, just a little bit. But yeah, overall about her Epiphanies, main Epiphanies we discussed, and once again you just wanna scroll the deck fast, you wanna stack the Tsukiyomi effect, which is going to give you additional hits for Shadow of the Moon. You wanna reach the bind 5 as soon as possible. In certain cases it might be kind of a long process. That's why I'm saying that, for example, having like her 2 basic attack cards isn't a bad thing, because it's going to speed it up a little bit. Yeah, you're going to have some cards which are not key in this build for sure, but by my feeling, in certain cases you wanna reach the maximum amount of stacks as soon as possible, and having only the upgrade version of Oni Hunt, which is going to give you 3 stacks each turn, what is it going to be if you're not going to use anything else? So we need to get 5 stacks to go to the next one tier. So in total we need to do like 4 upgrades, so this is going to be 8 turns. It's quite a long process. Obviously, if you're able to survive for that long, I guess it's not going to be an issue, because this card is going to be like a huge friggin' massive nuke for sure, but in certain cases you're not able to survive for such a long period of time. Now, when we discussed her main build, I'm also going to show you the decks that I was able to run myself. So here, as you can see, I have her basic cards. This one is an attack version. It's not the most optimal, but it's a divine, applying to vulnerable to the target. In terms of the multi-hit build, it's not the best benefit from this card, so yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Gaining 2 resolve, also not the best option overall, but I was able to get myself 3 Tsukiyomi cards, so 2 copies in total, which have an effect add 2 hit to the next Shadow of the Moon, working great, stacking up her hits really fast. The Bounded Dusk, I didn't get an Epiphany at all during the run, despite the fact that I'm doing Nightmare runs. The Oni Hunt, as you can see here, I didn't get an upgrade version. I have 4 hits, can't really complain about it, that's working fine. And also a really important one thing, if for example you're going to get an upgrade version, and for example you're going to delete all of your basic cards, it might be an option, you can do so. You really want to get yourself the forbidden card, which is going to cost 9 AP and provide you 4 attacks. It's going to help you to build your Will-O-Wisp stacks faster. So in her ideal build, let's say for OTK, you really want to have this forbidden card. Also is going to have a retain effect, so you're able to use it whenever it's going to be needed, kind of flexible, and with the fact that you're going to scroll your deck, you're going to reduce the cost of this card pretty much fast. Now about equipment that is going to be the best fit overall, I'm going to show you by the other example of the deck that I was able to farm myself. I just need to find it. I guess this one? Nope, not this one. Not this one. This one. So, the middle one, up to you. You might get for yourself the defensive piece, which is going to give counter-attack, for example, or just provide additional shields for survivability. For the weapon, the best probably option is going to be the Foggy Crystal Ball, because it's going to increase damage amount of attack cards with the cost of 0 by 40%, and with the fact that you're able to reduce the cost of certain cards to 0 of some attack cards, sometimes it might be pretty much helpful. For accessory, you can get yourself this ring, which is going to increase damage of basic attack cards by 40%, and if you're going to keep them in your deck, this is going to be helpful. The other option is going to be, let me see if I have it. This one, accessory, which is going to add 30% damage amount, also pretty much useful. And here, for example, you can see that I was able to get myself almost the perfect deck, with the only one point to mention here. So the Karmic Flames is the skill card with Divine Epiphany, draw 1 additional card, which is helpful. Yeah, 1 additional draw, why not? The Bounded Dusk, which is going to reduce cost of 2 cards. The upgrade version of Oni Hunt, great, insane. got myself the Forbidden card with 9 AP cost, and I get myself 2 copies of Tsukiyomi without Epiphany at all during the whole run. This is insane sometime, not gonna lie. But yeah, for example, if I had 2 cards with 2 additional hits for Shadow of the Moon, that would have been just perfect. The best, almost the best possible build for her. Maybe having like additional 1 copy here. But it is what it is. So moving next to support units, characters, team. When we're speaking about support units that you want to have in this team for her build specifically, it's obviously going to be Rei. She is just working perfectly here, no questions at all, and I was able to get myself, I believe, the perfect build for her, almost, with a little bit of a nuance here, and I'm going to explain it. So here is the deck that I was able to get myself, and I believe it's kind of decent. First of all, we're going to start with your upgrade card. And yes, it's an upgrade. So at the very beginning, you're going to have it as an attack card. Whenever it's going to be the case, you want to get yourself this card as an upgrade. The reason is the same, because when you're going to use the upgrade card, you're going to remove it from your deck. You're using it once, and this is great, and passively it's going to increase damage of basic attack cards by 80%, which is decent. Removing all her basic cards, like her basic attack cards, her healing card, there are 3 in total, you wanna delete them instantly, as soon as possible. The next card is also an upgrade, and this is going to give additional 40% damage amount of cards with cost of 1 or less. This is an effect from Epiphany. At the very beginning it's working differently. The effect isn't going to consider less than 1, if I recall it correctly. We're going to have a look at her original card just to compare it. This is working here great, once again, because you have a flexibility, an option. If the card is going to cost 0, you're still going to deal more damage. If the card is going to cost 1 AP, you're still going to deal more damage, and this is great. About her snack time, this card has an exhaust effect, and again, great. Yeah, it's going to disappear from your deck once again whenever you're going to use it, but it's going to draw 2 cards. This is an Epiphany version. This is working great because you don't really need to discard any cards, and with a really narrow deck you don't want to delete any cards from your hand. So this version is working just perfectly, and I was hunting for her deck specifically, so I was able to get myself a copy of her snack time. There are 2 of them because I didn't have anything better than this, unfortunately. Most importantly for our build is going to be these cards, specifically the Dark Condensation, because you're able to choose, no matter where this card is going to be located, if it's going to be in your hand, if it's going to be in your deck somewhere, you are able to apply the buff by 100% of damage increase at any time when you're getting this card in your hand. And this buff is going to work till the moment you're going to use the card to which you applied this buff. So when you're scrolling the deck, you're playing this card, it's going to stack the effect up, and you're going to receive at the end such a huge damage increase for your main nuke. This is working like really crazy. And ideally in this deck, instead of having like 2 snack time cards, and like in my case having 2 Predator's Blade, which is not that great, you want to have 3 copies in total of Dark Condensation, because you again want to scroll your deck faster, you want to get yourself cards which are going to buff your damage output, and this is going to be just perfect when you're having 3 cards in your deck. You're using each one of them one by one, and you're stacking up your damage output, your attack for your main nuke like crazy. About her unique card, let's say, which is going to give 4 moral. This is a multi-hit build, so overall it's not a bad card, because you're getting yourself 4 moral stacks. This is a lot. But having 2 copies, not necessarily important. I would say I don't feel like a lot of benefit from having 2 cards in this deck. I would prefer more to have 3 of Dark Condensation. It took me quite some time to get at least this build, so yeah, still there are a couple of ways of how I'm able to improve this deck. And here I have also a Forbidden card. It's not important, not that much. I mean, it's helping to scroll the deck a little bit faster, and it has an exhaust effect, so you're able to remove it instantly whenever you're going to get it. 1 AP, great, but it's not going to work because of the way how Chizuru is working. Nothing extraordinary. I mean, drawing 1 additional card whenever you're getting this one in your hand, okay, it's not going to harm your build at all, but not important. So this is like probably the best version of a supportive build of Ray for Chizuru specifically. About the gears, doesn't matter that much, I would say. And once again, you want to have multiple copies of Dark Condensation. This is like the main and the most important here. When we're speaking about her original cards, just let's have a look real quick. So yeah, this one, attack card. Upgrade version is going to be great. Here, yeah, of the cards with cost 1, so it's not going to consider those which are going to cost 0. And overall, I believe if we're going to have a look, this one version isn't bad, but it's not going to include those which are going to cost 0. Sometimes it might be an issue. Having an upgrade version is going to be better again, because you want to narrow down your deck a lot. The skill version, not really. I believe, yeah, this is probably the best one option. Alternatively, it's going to be also okay to have this one, plus 40% damage amount of void cards, no matter the cost. It's pretty much the same. Nothing extraordinary here. The snack time, let's have a look real quick. Yeah, the best version is going to be this one, which is just going to draw 2 cards, because again, you're going to have a really narrow deck and you just want to scroll it as fast as you can. For the Dark Condensation, we already discussed it. Now we need a character who is going to scroll our deck, and there are multiple options, obviously. We might think here about Veronica. She's going to be just great here. Cassius can be an option. Nia, I don't really think so. Maybe Be Real if you want to build her in a way as a scroller of a deck, but I think she's not the best one here. So yeah, Veronica is probably going to be our best option here. And for her deck, you want to make it really narrow again. Ideally, you want to remove all of her basic cards again. For the firing preparation, okay, let it be, whatever is going to be the case. If you're able to get a divine version of it, which is going to cost 0, this is going to be more cost effective, but not a big deal. Upgrade, you're going to use it, and forget about it. The rest that you want to have in here is obviously going to be the repose card, which is going to cost 0 EP and draw 2 cards. There is actually a divine version of this card, an Epiphany, which is going to draw 3 with the cost of 0. I have somewhere this version of the card. Let me have a look just real quick. So yeah, here for example, as you can see, I have 2 copies, but it's pretty heavy deck and it's not going to work that great overall. Ideally, when you're getting yourself this Divine Epiphany, drawing 3 cards is going to be just freaking insane. And if you're able to get yourself 1 or even 2 copies of this card, is going to be just perfect. In my case, I wasn't that lucky, but anyways, I have 2 cards. Ideally, you want to have 3, once again, just to scroll the deck as fast as you can. For this one, you want to have an upgrade, and again, ideally, if you're able to bring it to 0, it's going to be great. In my case, I just got a divine version of this card, which is going to also give me 1 consistent moral buff, working just perfectly. For Sir Kowalski, ideally, you want to get yourself an Epiphany, which is going to draw you 2 cards, and again, a divine version of him, which is going to bring the cost of this card to 0. So you are able to have a 0 AP card and draw 2 cards. This is going to be just great. And you may consider for yourself whatever card you want to copy. This one is going just to scroll the deck, not the other characters. This one is going to draw cards of other combatants, so probably this is going to be a better fit overall. The last one card doesn't really matter. Again, it's just an upgrade card. You want to use it and forget about it, and at the end you're just going to have 3 cards or maybe 4 cards which are going to scroll the deck. That's all you need. This is how the OTK build is working. You want to have a character who is going to scroll the deck faster. You want to have a character who is going to buff your damage output by a lot. You want to stack the dark condensation card, and you want to have for Chizuru the build which is going to add hits to your Shadow of the Moon, have a lot of upgrade cards to not take a lot of space, and again just keep the rotation over and over again, and have maybe a couple cards which are going to be multi-hits just to improve and increase the speed of stacking up Will-O-Wisp stacks. After that, you're just reaching some insane numbers in terms of hits here, some insane numbers in terms of damage output. You're using this card and you one-shotting opponents. That's the way how it's working. And I can promise if you will be able to get yourself such a build, it's going to be just amazing. So just to summarize, in my opinion about Chizuru, I have a feeling that she's a great character. In terms of strength, I believe she's somewhere in the same level as Mei Lin. And again, you have multiple options of how you can build her. You can build her as a spammer with basic attack cards, and it's going to work just perfectly. You can build her as a multi-hit character with a lot of only hand cards with 4 attacks in a row, and you also able to scroll the deck, increase stacks of moral, and get yourself just crazy numbers in terms of damage output, and you're able to build her as a one-shot character. This one was a one-shot build. I believe I explained everything in pretty much details, and I believe she's totally worth going for, especially if you were not lucky in terms of getting yourself Mei Lin. And again, this is the void element, so a little bit of a different area. I think she's going to be really great, and she's great especially for boss fights. In terms of multiple enemies, it's working a little bit worse, but still she's able to deal with it because she has a pretty much cost-effective deck. She's not going to hit everyone at the same time, but she can remove every one of them one by one without any questions. I hope this video is going to be helpful for you and you enjoyed it. If that's the case, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.